If you don't know who it is, it's the president, Sean Williams. Welcome back to the State Room Sports Edition. All right, guys. So I'm back with the crew. I'm back with Kevin. I'm back with Thien. And today we're talking some more NBA. Today we're talking about the NBA's decision to bring back the season, resume the season, get through the playoffs. And, we're going to debate if it was the right move or not. So you guys ready?
Yep.
Get it, man.
Yeah, guys. So if you did not see our first ever Sports Edition episode, the link's up top. So let's get it started. So guys, I know it was announced a couple weeks back that the NBA was planning to bring back the season, and we have all the logistics right here. So they're planning to bring back the season July 30, 31st, somewhere around there. And it was supposed to go as long as October 12th if there was a game 7 in the finals. So there's a lot of things with that, in terms of like the health and safety. What's the playoffs going to look like? There might be a play-in tournament in terms of like the 8th and 9th season and how the season progresses as well. So before we get into that, I just want to ask the simple question. Do you guys think it was the right move by the NBA bringing back the season?
I mean, yeah, bro. They got to make their money, man. They have to bring it back, bro. They have to. Because next season, how these players going to get paid, yo? Like the off-season shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
And not to mention, let's say the NBA doesn't return. When will they actually return?
Yeah.
How long are you going to wait for them to come back? As if it's being healthy and being too healthy. You know what I mean? It's I can see why some people don't like the NBA returning, but it's either they return next month or they don't return till next year. You know what I mean?
If they didn't return, what? They'll come back what? December?
Yeah.
If it wasn't coming back.
Wait.
Exactly, that'd be long. They've been sitting out since what? March?
Yeah. We've been off since March, so
right, yeah.
it would take a long while if the season were to come back. And, I definitely agree with you in terms of how the players are going to get paid, especially how it affects the offseason, because that plays an important role, especially just how teams are. A lot of teams will make the argument just if we had the season, we can determine if the player was going to stay with us or not. You don't know where their thoughts are. You're not sure if they're committed to the team as much.
Yeah.
So that's really important, And if let's say when the season starts, is there any issues that you guys are maybe concerned about?
Issues?
Oh, health would be the obvious one. What if someone gets sick of corona? Oh God.
Yeah, what if someone gets corona? What will happen? They shut it down again or what?
I'm not sure. Honestly, I'm going to play devil's advocate. I think the NBA bringing back the season was the wrong move.
Yeah?
It was the wrong move. And here's why. I know why. I understand why they brought back the season for the players' sake. But I'm looking at the fans' perspective. And, you can at me all you want, but this is my take. Everyone's so desperate for basketball to come back that they'll do anything to get it, even if it means bringing it back during all the circumstance that is happening. Even though everyone's gonna be well, Sean, it's something's gonna have to happen soon. You can't just use this as an excuse. Well, I'm not the only person that's saying that. There are NBA players that are even talking about this as well. One prime example, Kyrie Irving.
Pretty obvious.
Kyrie, White.
And listen, don't get me wrong. Kyrie says some outlandish things sometimes, but I really don't see what was wrong what he said. I really don't. Him talking about what's going on with the pandemic, the systematic racism in everywhere around the world. And plus, not to mention he's one of the vice presidents of the National Basketball Players Association. It's he's doing his job. What do you expect from him?
But he's one of those guys that voted to bring back the season now. You don't want the season back.
I mean, here's the thing. Them bringing back this season, I think they're looking for the interests of everyone else, but I think that doesn't dismiss their personal interest or their personal take of just saying, what, even though this is what everyone wants. In my opinion, I believe that this is not the right move because we're putting people at risk. It's like you said, if someone were to catch COVID-19, do they shut down the season? Does this player do they get benched for the entire regular season? Like, even though that people are saying like, well, we're all like, there's talks of vaccines and even the bubble, so technically the NBA is going to take good care of them. It's not enough in my eyes to say, you know what, you can run a full regular season. Like, there needs to be more. It's like, in terms of like, how are you going to test them? When are you going to test them? Is it going to be before the game?
They said every day they're going to test them, I think. That's what they said, I think.
So, like, where exactly? Are we talking, like, before the game? Are we talking post-game? Are we talking,
both.
like...
Before, after? Even practice?
I just know there's so much limitations to that it would make... It wouldn't even make the season feel, like, so genuine because, like, okay, we're playing games, but at the same time, we're constantly reminded of we have to check these players. I feel like, for me, I can't really enjoy the entire aspect of the NBA when you see players always having to be checked up to see, you're positive or you're negative. It's too much.
Yeah, if that happens, that'll be a disaster.
Well, from what I heard, if a player has corona, apparently the team can just replace that player with someone else. That's what I heard. Really? It doesn't change the fact. Yeah, that's what I believe I heard someone said that about that's the NBA's plan if someone has corona. But even then, how many players can you replace? Like, let's say LeBron gets corona. Who are you going to replace him with?
You can't replace LeBron.
Okay, and here's the thing. I know this is going to be like a thing. Like, just like Thien said, let's say a superstar were to catch COVID-19. And let's say that affects their chances to win the championship. Let's say the season ends, your team doesn't win. I don't want people to start coming and saying, like, oh, if this person didn't catch COVID-19, it would have been different.
They're gonna say it, bro.
That will be the most despicable thing I'll ever hear in my entire life.
They're gonna say that. You know the media, man.
Like, you can't pay, like, see, that's what I'm saying. And the media, too, everyone's supporting it. And it's nothing, like, that's what you believe. But to me, I am more concerned about what's happening around the world and how it's impacted everyone else. Everyone's trying to find an escape because, we haven't seen basketball since March. But if you take this in from this period to now, you could technically call this an off season. It's not something that you expected where, you still have free agency, you still have the draft and the summer league. No, this actually feels like we're not getting nothing at all. And people are trying their best to just bring back basketball when you have to focus. There's still stuff in the world that's happening.
Yeah.
That's true.
And you can't ignore that. No matter if you don't want to agree with me or not, there is still stuff happening. And even the players are speaking out. Now, even though you have a guy like Kyrie or even Carmelo, I think he was actually one of the first to mention it, but no one really talks about that. Even though they play for teams that are from the lower tier and like feel like they don't have a chance to win the championship, it should just dismiss the fact, well, you know what, they don't care that much because their team's not going to win a title. So their opinions are kind of invalid. It's about what the real superstars. They're still human beings. Not to mention they're black men, especially like both. They correlate to both situations right now with all the protests and the riots and the constant deaths of black people and the pandemic. Like, you can't just – if you have no NBA season, would I be sad? Yes. Would I be upset? I mean, I wouldn't really be going off saying, oh, my gosh, you should have had the season. Like, it needed to happen. Like,
what's happening in the world, right? So I wouldn't be, like, that upset,
Yeah, but I know you guys probably think it's the right move. Like, I want to hear what you guys think.
I mean, I get what you said, bro, about COVID and all that, but I think it's the right move. They need to make their money. So,
not to mention, like I get it, like that things happening in the world, yes, but at the same time, the NBA can't just like what's the NBA gonna do? Like, they have players who aren't getting paid. Don't forget that the rest of the economy is getting screwed over, and any business that's tied to the NBA is basically screwed if the NBA doesn't come back. And obviously, there's financial implications as well. So it's tricky. Like, I still would support them coming back, but I can understand like the controversy surrounding that.
Makes sense, for not them playing.
I would say this, and I want people to keep this in mind. if you want the NBA to come back, you shouldn't just be advocating for the NBA. You should want the MLB back because they haven't started their season yet.
Yeah, that's not the season yet, bro.
You want the NBA back, get the NHL back because they were about to start the playoffs as well.
Yeah.
If you want the NBA back, you should be advocating for these other sports. Again, I feel like people are just using the NBA as an outlet to just free themselves. And again, like, I don't think you should be like poisoning your mind to like seeing everything that's happening because even I know when to take a step back and be like, you know what, everything I'm seeing on social media, I'm glad like I'm talking about it with people and, you know, I'm getting people to like educate themselves. But at the same time, I want to step back and protect my mental health because I don't want to be always looking at the same things, especially as a Black man, seeing all this stuff. You know, it's a lot. It takes a lot in your mind, you know. So I feel like with the NBA, if they come back, I mean, well, it's going to come back. When they have the seasons, I'm not going to say I'm not going to watch basketball because there will be days I'll use basketball as like another platform to keep myself, to keep myself like, you know, calm and relaxed. But at the same time, I'm not going to ignore the fact that, you know, you guys could have sat for the pandemic and everything that's happening because there's bigger things than just basketball winning the championship. Because that's what it's ultimately is. It's about the championship. I understand what money ties in and players going to get paid, but regardless what's going to happen at the end, the player's going to have their money, you know, they're going to have like all those stuff. But it's all about winning the championship. And that was the biggest question, especially going into this year, how balanced the league is. Like, there's not like one definitive winner that we can all think about. Like, it could be anyone from the Lakers, from the Clippers. Heck, even if the Bucks probably surprise people, you know.
Bro.
And even other teams like the Rockets, the Raptors, the Celtics, you know.
Yeah.
I feel like bringing back the season was great in terms of just how people feel. But at the same time, you want to keep in mind is just if you're bringing it back, you're going to have people, especially the players as well, just talking about everything that's happening around the world.
Yeah. Just keep talking about it like in the press conferences and stuff.
But that's how honestly how I feel, especially even like recently with the whole Colin Kaepernick incident. How everyone like saying like, oh, he should join back the NFL, and like even then he said, I'm not joining back because when I was advocating for Black people back then, like you weren't seeing it in that light. You weren't seeing it as the way you see it right now. So if I'm the players, think about it too. You want me to come back, especially what's happening to my people. If I am like a LeBron James, I'm thinking to myself, you know what? You want me to come back so I can fill your pockets? Because let's be honest, it's filling the NBA's pockets. It's filling the white man's pockets.
Yeah.
So it's like, you want me to come back to fill your pockets? No, I'm going to sit out and I'm going to see you suffer. Because let's be honest, even if there is no season, you mean to tell me next year people are not going to watch the NBA when it comes back eventually?
Everyone's gonna watch it.
You mean to tell me that when the NBA comes back, they're not gonna make as much money like they did before the season was canceled? Like, I feel that's ridiculous. This is not no company where like it's dependent on its audience. The NBA could make revenue,
make their money.
So like that's why I feel like bringing back this season. I'm not gonna say it was a stupid move or it was the wrong move. I just feel like in terms of time, it's just like
a rush move.
Not needed.
Like it is. Like timing's pretty bad. Ain't gonna lie. Like given what's going on.
Yeah, bad time.
Yeah, like if you said like, you know what, we have plans to probably bring it like later on in the year, then maybe hopefully if everything starts to like, you know, go down a bit, then maybe. But I just feel like with everything happening, the fact that we're only halfway through the year is just like
I don't think so, man.
Yeah,
it's gonna be the same. Even when the season's back, it's gonna be the same thing, bro.
And again, I'm just praying that everything that's happening around the world just stops and there's justice served. Because I'm getting really sick and tired of seeing everything that's happened around. Like being oppressed for so long, how the system has just not been built for us. It was never built for us to begin with. So like I'm just really like I'm pissed at some point.
Like,
you know,
200 years, man. Like
but. Yeah, that's one important thing. And so let's actually talk about the season and like what are the plans. So like I said, they're planning to come back July 31st and the playing tournament, that may be a thing. So I just want to make sure I have my notes correct. I may be messing up, so if you guys want to correct me anytime,
Okay.
please feel free. But I believe that if the 9th seed were 4 games like below, close to the 8th seed in terms of like their spot, there would be a play-in tournament, and
Yes.
the 9th seed would have to win twice to get the spot, and the 8th seed would have to win once. I know at first people were kind of confused, but yeah. And then, so what do you think of that? Do you think that's a good idea, especially for an 8th seed, like, you know, maybe the Memphis Grizzlies, who's fought all year long and possibly they could be ousted by, let's say, a Portland or a New Orleans?
Like, if you think of the playing, like the whole playing games is like a playoff within a playoff, it's interesting because it makes the 8th seed more like, yes, you like the way I see it, the 8th, like having like teams compete over the 8th seed at least makes like the end of the season more interesting because that way teams who are close to making the playoffs will play better to try to get into the playoffs. Like, but the idea is kind of weird. It's like you're having a playoff before the playoff. That's what the play games feel like.
For a team that's probably gonna get out in the first round, like.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of pointless, man.
And then the board's like, hey, the first place team's gonna beat you up. Yay.
Exactly, yeah. It's kind of pointless.
Yeah.
Tournament, bro.
Yeah,
absolutely. Just play this regular season game. Whoever is the 8th seed, just play, bro.
Because like, yeah, I do see it like that, you know, like when you're the 8th seed and you have to fight your spot. Think about it. If you are like a lower seed, like the 9th seed or the 10th seed, you do get up to the 8th seed. People are still gonna be like, you're still gonna get bounced by the first seed. So like, it doesn't really matter.
Exactly.
Like, and I won't even make the argument that I will say like for Memphis, like a team like Memphis, I was really surprised for them to make it to the 8th seed this year because I did not say they were going to be bad, but I did not see them making the playoffs.
They're going to make the playoffs, man. So they'd be in a playoff position, like,
and like not even just them. Like there's a lot of teams in the West that made like a high rank in terms of standing. Like Maverick, the Thunder.
Maverick shocked me this year.
Like the Thunder, like they're one of the biggest surprise. I truly thought they were going to be a lottery team. I did not think they were going to sneak up and just actually catch a spot there. So I feel for those players, it's like, well, we were fighting all year long, and then now you're giving them the chance. And all it takes is a couple good games, from like Damian Lillard, a Zion Williamson, and like
it's kind of not fair, because. Granted, the whole season, and you know what happened in the world and everything.
Yeah, so like it definitely is like it's annoying, but it does establish competitiveness because if you're the 8th seed, it's like, well, we fought so hard, now we got to fight even harder, and people are trying to see it as good television. So I do see like the marketing in that as well. There's a lot of people, especially a lot of like analysts that are wanting Zion to be.
I know, yeah. They know what they're doing. They're trying to make money, man.
Yep.
And like that's what I'm trying to say. It goes back to like what I said before. Like I like NBA are kind of like trying to do whatever it takes to get viewers to come in because they need the money.
Yeah.
And like I get it, but again, like I feel like with everything happening, there's so much things to focus on more than like NBA. And like you guys, I know we talk about NBA a lot, but like there's even like other stuff we could talk about too. Like what are the plans for like the MLB coming back, or possibly any other sport coming in?
NFL,
Exactly. So I know I think it was a couple nights ago, the MLB draft happened. I haven't watched MLB. I haven't watched MLB like in a while. Like like it's probably been like what, a year and a half.
Hey, I heard a Blue Jays got a star, man. What's his name? Austin? What's his name?
Well, which one you talking about? Vladimir Guerrero?
No, he just got drafted.
Something Mike.
Okay, hold on.
I can't remember.
I forgot his name, though. He's a star, though.
Yeah, I mean, like I think they got the 5th pick overall in the draft, but
Austin Martin.
Yeah,
the name rhymes.
So I want to ask you that. So if the MLB were to come back, which again I don't agree with. I think they should just leave all sports alone right now. But let's say if they were to bring back the MLB, how would that look like?
Well, right now, from what I've heard, the players' union and the MLB owners are still fighting over how they'll return. So right now, I don't know if MLB's gonna return at all. It's like they're still arguing over like how it's gonna come back. So unlike the NBA, where at least they have a plan, MLB is just they're just trying to like figure something out.
They're
Still,
just improvising.
such a mess.
Yeah, I get it.
I don't know if they'll come back, man.
I will say this. I don't like the fact how the season is like really long. Like 106.
Yeah, they play too much games, man. Too much.
Way too many.
Everybody has like day offs, bro.
Because the way how it's structured is that it's like based on series. Like, you know, if you're facing a team, you play them like 3 or 4 times straight.
Yeah.
Which is,
I
mean, I can see why. Because in terms of like traveling, that would be like a lot.
Traveling still.
But at the same time, like you could just shorten the season.
They need to, especially
like,
what's happening right now. They need that, bro.
If you want to make it like the NBA's like 82, because even like for the NBA, like people are saying like we want to shorten the season. We feel like for players, you know, there's a chance they might get injured like late. Or, you know, they need more rest. But I think for the MLB, I think bringing it around to like 80, 90 games ish I think it'll be beneficial because a lot of, especially for the pitchers, you know, imagine like. Because they have a rotation. About like 4 to 5 pitchers. You don't pitch until like every other 4 to 5 days.
Yeah.
So like imagine yourself like you pitch on a Monday and the next time you pitch is like a Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So like it feels like you're not getting through the season as quick enough. And like there's the higher chance of like injuries as well.
Yeah.
You know,
the higher chance, bro.
Like especially like, you know, getting an injury as well if you're playing every single day, because that's how it is. Like for the MLB, you play almost every single day,
and then you travel every time you go
2
to
days off a
place.
week or some crazy.
Exactly. So like that's really tiresome.
All right,
you know, like I know the season ends around like probably September, and then like you have October baseball, and like it's nice like in the fall, especially the beginning of like the school year. You have baseball. But at the same time, what's it like? You have NBA coming back, NHL is coming back. I feel like not saying that people aren't gonna watch baseball, but like you're kind of competing with everyone.
You're competing with them sports.
Even the NFL. So like there's like 4 things going on at once.
It's gonna be a disaster, man.
So like, if they can find a way to end it around September, around that time, I think that'd be perfect.
Yeah.
So the season usually starts around like end of March, early April.
Yeah.
So like if you can end it around September, that'll be really great. I like their playoff format though. Like the first round, the best of 5. I think it makes it even more intense.
Yeah.
Because you have less games, and that means every game matters, and you have to win. If they bring back the season, honestly, I'm not gonna like the decision that they make, but it's not up to me. It's what they want to do.
What they want to do, man. Yeah. Want to bring it back? They bring it back. They don't.
So now I want to ask the question back to the NBA. Which team, in terms of like going back into the season, which team do you think will benefit the most, and which team do you think is gonna be hurt the most in terms of like coming back?
That's a tough question.
In terms of the team being hurt the most, well, I'd have to say the Nets, because like Irving's not gonna come back. He's still injured, so I doubt they'll rush him to come back just to play this. Same for Durant. So it's like when the Nets really want to come back, it's like not in the greatest spot, if you know what I mean. And also, not to mention, people would be like, wait a minute, why are these guys get to come back? Like, the playoffs are supposed to be in, like, I think, April-ish or something, right? April, It's like, oh, because the season got delayed, they get to come back. That doesn't sound right. You know what I mean?
I'll come back.
Kevin, what do you think?
What's the question?
So, like, what team do you think will benefit the most coming back, and what team you think is the least, like, the most impactful in terms of, like, who's the most hurt?
Team with the most benefit, probably the Raptors, man. The Raptors are hurt, bro.
Ain't arguing with that one.
All the Raptors are hurt. Who's hurt? Gasol, Who else? Powell's hurt a little bit. Who else? Fred. And
Mhm.
now they've been sitting out for how long, bro? For like
3
2
4
months.
months.
Now they're about to come back right now. So
I think because you said that, I think they're the most hurt.
yeah.
Because
Okay.
of the fact that everyone was hurt. Because I don't know what it was, especially with the Raptors, especially the last 2 seasons, but it seems like no one can stay healthy for like a good month. And like the fact that everyone was injured and then Corona came and now it's like for some players, they probably even before that, they probably didn't play before like till February. Going that back. So like we're about to head into July. So it's like 5 months. Like 5 months without touching a basketball. I feel for them. Like I don't question their chemistry, but in terms of just like their gameplay, you know, working out their like offensive, defensive schemes, it's gonna be challenging. I hope 8 games are enough to like warm them up. But like I'm not sure. In terms of like who benefits the most, I'm looking at the Clippers. Like that team just top to bottom, like they know what they're doing. Like Leonard, like he's even showed like on rest for some reason he gets better. Like
he don't even need to play, bro. That guy can take 3 months, a whole year rest, bro. Fuck.
Do you think the Clippers are gonna do load management on him again? Like have him play every other game?
I'm not sure. I really don't know. But yeah, I do think the Clippers benefit the most because like again, their team is structured well. They have a great coach, a great staff, a great team. Like Leonard and George, I have confidence in them. Lakers as well. But yeah, another team that I think is probably most hurt is the Rockets because they were just such in a flow with their small ball lineup. And now like it's like, oh great, now we gotta like get back into rhythm. It's not
that chemistry again. Like
like it's not that I don't think they'll like underperform, but again, you gotta like get that spark back. But yeah, the Raptors were trying to get a superstar. And one thing I've been hearing a lot is the possible chance of the Raptors getting Giannis Antetokounmpo. I am not a fan of this.
Nah?
No.
Really?
No.
Really?
Really? Why?
Look, Giannis is a fantastic player. Don't get me wrong. This man is amazing. He will soon in the future, he'll be the best player in the NBA. Right now, if Nick Nurse is going to do the exact same thing what Budenholzer is doing right now with Giannis in terms of letting him do what he wants and surrounding shooters, then that's not going to get us through to the final. That's not going to get us winning the chip. Like, I don't see that. I mean, what do you guys think?
Well, let me ask you this. If the Raptors, let's say they need a star, who could they add, right? Like, in the future, who could they add? Like, I think most of the stars are already under contract, so it's kind of tricky. That's why we think of Giannis, because it's like...
Only Giannis is like the available guy.
I mean, like, I don't know in terms of who they can add, but like I look at Giannis and like his skill set is great, but again, like I look at him in terms of just like he's good at what he does, but what happens when the game changes and you know it's more slow down? You know, is it
to half court?
Like, yeah, like if it's half court, to, like work in a more like I could like pull up a shot and make it. You know, I don't have to always drive to the paint. You're not saying like you know, that
thing with the Bucks, bro. He drives and he kicks it out. They play like a 5-out offense. So he drives and kicks it out. They have shooters everywhere. So
now I know with the Raptors in terms of like style, it's totally different because the Raptors are a ball movement team that could work for Giannis in terms of like finding his open shot. But at the same time, you have to look at the player as well. And like, there's even people saying like, if we were to get Giannis, we want to keep Siakam as well. That's double trouble.
That could be worse.
That would be worse because Siakam alone, being able to option again, like he struggles to like find his shot and know when to like, you know, really step up to the situation. So if you have both two guys who are paint dominant, it's like you're clogging the zone because even though you have guys like Marcus Gasol and Serge Ibaka can spread the floor. I feel like, you know, it's just like, okay, just let them shoot. Because if you're basically showing to every team, like, I'm more of the paint guy, like I can get my buckets from inside, and you're not able to show that you have an arsenal where you can take shots from the mid-range or from three and still be seen as a threat, I don't know. Like, I don't think it's going to work good.
Yeah, that would probably rarely seen it work, but playoffs when everything slowed down, yeah.
Because like when I hear people say Giannis to the Raptors, I there's two things. There's about, oh my God, he's gonna be a great player, and I'm not gonna deny that. But it's like, is he gonna be the guy like a Kawhi Leonard that's gonna be able to, like, step up in the big moments? Like, you even saw it against the Raptors then. Like, there were moments that Giannis, just he wasn't feeling himself. Even at the free throw line.
Oh my God.
He was airballing free throws. So it's like that right there. And like, I know one thing I will say about Giannis, his mentality, like he's trying to like change it every single time. I would not say right now, like if it were to come, but maybe in the future, if we were able to get Giannis, I do have to see like where his head at and like, how his game has improved in terms of just like, again, in the clutch and, just closing out games.
We'll see.
But this is not me saying that Giannis is overrated or Giannis is not a top 5 player because he is. We won a chip, and I think like if you want to win another chip, you want to think smart. I think having Giannis is great, but like again, let's not forget if Brooklyn gets healthy with KD and Kyrie, like that's gonna be a problem. Like, and let's say. And like we're not the only people trying to get Giannis. I know there's like
Miami.
So could you imagine if it's like Butler and Giannis? I feel more confident with that because if you put Giannis with there, like you need a second option. Like I love Lowry, but he's getting old. Fred, like is he enough? Like is Norman Powell like who's going to be the second option? If you put Siakam second option, that's 2 guys in the paint that not showing you no perimeter shooting or anything.
No Arsenal. It's pink shooting, bro.
Yeah, so and another thing to say is that Jimmy Butler has shown signs as a closer. So if Jimmy and Giannis were to come together, Giannis is able to attack the paint, pass it out to his shooters, plus you have the closing ability of a Jimmy Butler who has the experience of being able to be clutch in those close game situations. Take the Sixers, for example. The Sixers were a great team, but the only issue was that they didn't really have a closer. But they tried to deem it on Embiid and Simmons to be the closer of the team when you had a guy like Butler there. They just weren't able to utilize him to his full potential in those moments, especially in the playoffs. That's why I love the Raptors, but if Jimmy Butler was consistently closing out the games, especially the big ones, the Sixers would have probably won that series. They probably would have won that series, even with Kawhi. That might be a hot take, but that's just kind of displaying how if the Heat were to get someone like Giannis, that would be huge because I think with that they're automatically title contenders. I feel from that alone, it's just like if you get Giannis, fine, I'll be happy. I'm not gonna sit here and say it was a bad move. I'll be jumping for joy. But I will say this: Raptors, you're gonna have to do that. The Milwaukee Bucks couldn't do in terms of like making Giannis feel like a threat from the perimeter, just from like the mid-range area. Like work on his game like that.
Still, he has to work on his game, man.
Exactly. I think that's really important.
If he develops that, get him, man.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's everything we kind of covered, unless like we're probably missing something. Anything you guys want to talk about?
Question: do you guys think Anthony Davis is gonna stay with the Lakers? Because I think he's a free agent after the season's over. Like, can you imagine him staying with Lakers or just leaving?
It honestly depends. If they win the championship sooner than later until his free agency, I don't know because like I don't think Davis. He's a very like quiet person. Like he keeps to himself. I would not be surprised if he leaves because he feels like, well, I came to LA to win a chip with LeBron. I couldn't even do that. So let me see if I can just build my own team somewhere else. Maybe AD brings someone with him. But if he does win a chip, I think he'll stay, just like, okay, let's see if I can win a couple more, cement my legacy a bit.
I mean, you want to leave LeBron? I mean, even if you lose, man.
Well, then again, look at Kyrie.
I mean,
I mean, he got Durant eventually, sure.
I mean, Kyrie wanted to be like the #1 guy, so. And it didn't work out. So
I will say one thing. I just remembered they were planning once the season ended on October 12th. They wanted to like bring back the season even quicker. They're planning like to start the next season on December. And,
that's
like,
too quick, man.
imagine that. Imagine you had to rush to finish this season, only to rush into the next season.
Oh
To
god,
get back on the
Don't
original.
do that. Don't do that.
that's a mess.
That is another reason why they should not bring back the NBA. They should have never brought it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I know
don't do
everyone's
that.
thinking like, well, technically they got the rest here, so like it
But
kind
still,
of
that's still fast, yo.
Like, how long would the offseason be? 1 month?
that would just look so weird. Imagine,
1
like,
month.
think about it. Think about it. If you're think about it in a span of like that, from like what's it, July to possibly April, we'll have 2 NBA champions.
Exactly.
What?
Does that make sense?
Think about it. The team who basically wins in the one right now in October, they'll only get 2 months to revel in the celebration.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're asking me, that's disrespectful to them.
Oh, man.
And it's hard to celebrate with the coronavirus out there. It's like
Exactly. What if they win and you can't celebrate?
like, you can have parades?
You have to wear
Nah.
masks and everything, bro.
Yeah, think about that. If you win the championship, you're not even having a parade.
Nah, there's gonna be no parade, bro.
Like, we're gonna do a virtual parade online.
Yeah.
Imagine this thing with bro. Imagine we win the title, no parade.
Yeah, man. I mean,
like, I think it's a cancel that. I can't lie.
it's so much, but yeah, I think that's everything we have covered.
Mm-hmm.
So, guys, thank you for tuning in. You know, thanks for Kevin and Thien joining me today. You know, so
Yeah, no mention it.
yeah, we're gonna do more of this. I'll see if I can come up with some new topics. I don't want it just to be like NBA centric. I want to like talk about different sports as well. You may have to forgive me. Like again, I haven't watched MLB in a while. I haven't watched NHL in a while.
Yeah.
I'm not really an NFL fan, so maybe I have to bring some people on. So like maybe they educate us a bit.
Yeah.
Like, that's totally cool.
Yeah.
Ew. Did you watch Backlash?
What?
Did you watch Backlash?
That piece of shit ain't real. No.
Hey, that was lit. I don't care. Yo.
What?
Hey, you see the greatest match ever?
Oh my goodness, man.
That was lit, bro. I was watching that shit.
Listen, like, don't get me wrong, it was a great match, but was it the greatest match ever? Not even close.
No, it wasn't.
First of all, that's subjective. Like, there's no actual greatest wrestling match ever.
It's not.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe next time we'll talk some WWE. For all.
I can talk about
Maybe.
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, why
That
not?
guy coming to SmackDown. What's his name?
Who?
What's his name? I think Matt Riddle. That dude.
Oh yeah, I did hear about that. Yeah, you know what? We'll talk about WWE next episode. So yeah, we may just do a WWE episode, just watching back the video. I don't know what we're gonna talk about, really. We'll have to think of something, but it's not an idea that we can just throw away immediately. So we'll see what Kevin, Thien, and I can do, but thank you guys for tuning into the Safe Room Sports Edition. I'll see you guys soon.